And then he goes, are you working remote or at home? And I said, oh, I'm in the office. And he's like, I'm going to come down. And I'm like, okay, hold on. So I try, but essentially sometimes there's no policy or logistics flow with the help desk. And they just say, just trust you. It's human nature. We want to be polite. We don't want to interfere. But we can take advantage of that. And it's really a true threat. So try that in the next time.
I think Tom was like a 6'8" bearded guy, so it's just this monster man is acting.
I tried, but I was sick, so. Put a focus on feature reviews. So what is the technology that you do and how can you use the functionality? This is very common with web apps. It can be common with different services too, depending on the versioning and technology. So always look at the different features that developers create for usability and try and misuse them and use them like attackers with that mindset. And once you get valid credits, spray them across all the things if you're allowed to. You may lock out a lot of accounts, so maybe don't do it against certain protocols, but if it's in rules of engagement and you find credits, you're probably going to get into a lot of other things. Here's a lot of good useful trainings and links. We always like to do this. This is the way we wrap up our talks. Free trainings on Cyber. We actually have a channel on Cyber as well, BreakPoint Labs, where Andrew did some whiteboard talks. There's a lot of great CTF links there for Bowling Hub, Pen Tester Lab, a lot of write-ups. For training, we really like SANS, we like offensive security. Security too has a lot of great things like introduction to Python and different things of that nature, and PowerShell as well. Good books right there, a lot of great talks. And great GitHub resource, we really like the security list for fun and profit, BuzzDB, SecList, they're great for the community. You can use it in all your offensive engagements. And essentially that's it. We're BreakPoint Labs. If you want to find us on Twitter, we're at 0xcc_labs. There's our website, and feel free to email us. We're hiring right now for remote positions and also for positions in Mississippi. So that's why we're here. We're actually from Maryland, so we have an office in Virginia and an office in Mississippi. And we'll be glad to hear from you if you're interested. So, anyone have any questions or comments?
I have one.
Sure.
About the sticky notes.
Yeah.
So, I'll go down to our logo store, which sells, coffee cups and pins and t-shirts and caps and stuff with our logo on. And there's a basket sitting there with a bunch of things that look like passports, about the size of the passport. And I pick it up and it says password book. And you open it up and it has 2 on each page. Nice pretty boxes. Site, login, password, site, login. And I looked at her and I said, are you really selling this to people? She said, oh yeah, people love it.
That's awesome.
I'm telling you, I saw a sticky note where a woman made her own grid and had, name, site, password, and I thought, it's that. She made her own. And I didn't even know there was people selling her.
So we had another guy who, another keyboard. Everybody's got his.
Oh, everyone. We always check it.
So we jumped on him about that.
Yeah.
He put it on the ceiling above his desk.
I gotta start looking there. I
So
didn't know
you
that.
just do this. And
Wow. That's like when you go to Vegas, there's a mirror on the ceiling. You're like, what the hell? Anyway, awesome. But yeah, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I don't know why a company would sell that. It's just a terrible offset.
Yeah, it was actually interesting. We got one password on the task test, and it was just a standard user. Like, I don't care for that user. You can't do anything with that user. So we did for Linux, and we saw that they mapped all their web roots to aggressively with that user. And I'm like, I can do a lot of web coding with this user. Trust me. Web shells everywhere.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody.
I think we have a follow-up.
Oh yeah.
The keynote speaker, Leslie, mentioned a need for psychologists, or that could have an advantage in the security community. For pen testers, what's the psychology? Are there any particular trends, hobbies, interests that a good pen tester is known for?
I'd say a creative mind. I'd say that's the biggest thing, because a lot of times you'll be presented with something that's in front of you and you'll run that automated scanner and then you'll go, okay, there's nothing here, but if you really just try and think with that manual testing point of view, you look at the feature, you go, well, how can I misuse this? What service can I start? What input can I put in here? It's not validating. And you go from there, and you get really creative with how to abuse a feature like a contact us page. In our other talk, we talked about how we basically abused a contact us page and it sent an email on behalf. Well, it was a hidden parameter in the code, and it essentially was client side. We could basically send an email on behalf of this big website to anyone from anyone. So we just, it's just a creative mind. You gotta think about how do I use a feature that was supposed to be cool, and be more than a simple mail to on a website. So I think a creative mind. So that's anybody essentially that wants to be
Yeah, being motivated. So I think with pen testing, I see a lot of, even DFIR, it's always easy to say something's not hacked. It's always easy to say something's not vulnerable, right? And then go back to Facebook. It's always easy. And you may be the smartest guy in the room, but because you've been there 15 years, you're burned out, you're no longer looking for what's under this rock, what's under that rock, whether it be defensive or offensive, you miss stuff. So being like, I would say self-motivated, and then also maybe just a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it's just pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's like I actually have a poster of the Joker hanging on my wall, and I go into the dark hole and I say, this company is a better comic criminal, How did I get it? When I start to, really hit the wall, you gotta phrase that dark side. But yes. Oh, yeah. So I would say they do a pretty. I didn't watch the latest season, admittedly. I've been working 8-hour weeks.
You watch it more religiously?
I don't know. I watched the first season, so I'll say they do a pretty good job. I think he popped a box with Shell Shock, right? One of the main sites. I was like, God, it's cool. There's Shell Shock, and I slowed down and syntax is right. I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. I think they use, I think Ubix is, I might be wrong misspeaking here, but I think Ubix is somebody that does like some tech editing there. So Rob Mueller. They've got some people in the field that are actually making sure that they're not messing up there.
I think they use Cedric on the site once. I mean, that's
It's
a hell of a lot more accurate than CSS Cyber, but
look for the red code.
CSS Cyber. But yeah, I watched a few episodes, but some of them, at least they use the right tools, like in the right manner, So they weren't playing with hydrogen.
Forgive me if y'all already covered this, I came in late.
Sure.
What would your tips be for a application developer, especially web developer, to think like a pen tester?
Yeah, so stop thinking about usability, forget about this. No, I'm kidding.
Make everything hard for the users.
We get that a lot, and I think what I always like to suggest this and take a step back and ask yourself a question. What is this technology or my application allowing users to do? Answer that high-level question. Allows them to log in. How can an attacker use a login feature? Well, maybe they can put it in on-standard input, or maybe they can reset a password, maybe they can cross-reference forwarding, whatever it might be. So try to take a step back and figure out what are the features my application is offering, and then do some research on how an attacker might use that feature. It might help you from a high level understand, okay, because that's one of the things I see so much is that the developer knows how to fix the problem, like, oh, okay, I'll fix it. But I didn't think that who's looking at hidden HTML fields, right? I am, but just start highlighting, maybe the mind map, like here's what map lets me do, and then try to branch off that mind map with attack scenarios, features, what functionality.
And a lot of times people are asking the same questions, so you don't have to ask them. Stack Overflow is a great place to go look and things of that nature. And OWASP has a lot of great guidelines on hardening web apps if you're talking about that kind of stuff. So you can always look for those guidelines and ways to do input validation and things of that nature. So, awesome. Thanks, everyone.